Dave Chapelle will never stop. Let's see.
Good comedians will make you laugh. The best comedians will make you laugh at things you are not supposed to laugh at. Iconic comedians will transcend the punchlines. Challenge societal norms.
Richard Pryor's a funny motherfucker. If you never see, I think, is it called Fire? I think it's called Fire, the name of that one stand-up he has. Oh, so good. It's the one we talked about literally being on fire.
Transgress established boundaries and continue
I have no idea who this guy is.
to share their thoughts despite an uproar of negative criticism. Dave Chapelle is an iconic comedian, but he did not get there easily. There have been numerous attempts to silence Dave, whether it was a heckler, an angry journalist, or a multi-billion-dollar organization.
That is fucking crazy. Imagine being so up in arms about a fucking comedian that you're going out of your way to try to like destroy them. Like, as if you have no respect for the freedom of speech or the fucking principles this country's founded on.
But Dave
Disgusting.
was never willing to compromise his integrity.
Good.
Not for one man.
Listen, and that's number one. Don't you ever fucking forget it. All right? At the end of the day, if you try to play by these motherfuckers' rules and you try to play by everybody else's fucking preferences, you're just going to end up being a fucking another sheep. All right? Don't sacrifice who you are just to make other people happy, bro. Don't take shots to your integrity for a fucking payday. Don't fucking give in just because somebody you might appreciate or someone whose opinion you might have used to value is all of a sudden changing about you. Fuck them. Fuck them. If they don't like it, they can move the fuck on. And that's it, bro. Be you and be proud.
And not for $1. His big break in Hollywood was when Universal Pictures bought a movie Dave and Neil Brennan wrote called Half-Baked. It's a silly stoner comedy reminiscent of Jay and Silent Bob that wasn't a huge hit, but the movie did gross $17 million against a $7 million budget and
that's not bad. That's not bad. 10 mil on that?
Has become a cult classic since. 24-year-old Dave wasn't fully happy with the way the film came out, but he was extremely proud to have his movie on the big screen at such a young age. From there, he started pitching a television show to various networks. Fox was interested, but they worried the show casted too many black people.
I mean, isn't that like still what they do to this day? Aren't they like too scared to like have too much black shit on their fucking television program, on their network? I'm pretty sure Fox hasn't changed. I'm pretty sure if you looked into like their internal memos, there is still something that is like the language is still probably fucking similar.
More specifically, they thought the female star of the show wasn't funny and they wanted Dave to recast her to a white actress. Dave simply denied, because this particular sitcom was based on his life, and he grew up in an all-black household. A few days after that meeting, Variety posted an article that claimed he was playing the race card. Dave said, "This network built itself on black viewers, and what they're saying is white people are narcissistic. They don't want to watch black people. They want to watch themselves. It tells every black artist, no matter what you do, you need whites to succeed."
Which is bullshit. I mean, let's look at everything that's amazing. Let's look at everything that's great. Good food. Fucking, good food. Tell me, white people made that shit? No. White people don't season their food. It just doesn't happen. Salt and pepper. That's the only fucking seasoning they've ever known. What else are you gonna tell me? Fucking sports. Majority of players in sports are not white, bro. And if you want to argue me on this, bro, just look at fucking baseball and look at fucking. I'm gonna say soccer, but internationally, guess what? It's known as football. And then look at American football, right? Most fucking sports players aren't. Basketball. It's also another international sport. Come on, bro. Come on. It takes all types.
Fox claims they were making a light suggestion to add a...
You know what white people are good at? Guns. White people are good at guns. You know what else white people are good at? Bro trucks. You know what else white people are good at? Fucking meatloaf.
different perspective, a point of view that allows a larger audience to appreciate it. Most young people in the industry would just accept the request of a major corporation, but Dave was unashamed of his decision and was willing to tell the world exactly how he felt. "I felt like I was beaten up and completely degraded," he said. "It's disgusting, and it made me want to vomit." It pretty much took Dave one bad experience to know this whole Hollywood thing is overrated, to make...
It's not even over. It's not even that it's over. Yeah, first of all, yeah, maybe it is overrated, but it's just so much more entrenched in bullshit. It's not even about Like you're not getting what you thought you would get. It's more like you're getting what you would get with all these millions of strings attached, simply because of the fact that Hollywood plays on everybody's fucking interest. And the thing is that if you're trying to make something good, you can't make something for everybody. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not.
Matters worse,
I mean, the only examples I could think of would be like Play-Doh and Legos. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, anyone could pick the shit up and play with it. You know, kind of like Minecraft, I guess, in modern day times. But, you know, it's just most things that get designed for everybody tend to like have a lot of things that are missing out in it.
his father was on his deathbed. While traveling back and forth from LA to Ohio, he realized how much he loved the small town of Yellow Springs. He describes it as something so real in contrast to Hollywood's powerful illusion. Dave purchased a farm out in the town with 3,000 people because he can focus on his family and friends. He can have real, genuine interactions with people who aren't trying to gain something from him. Sadly, his father passed away at the young age of 59.
Damn, that's young as fuck, bro. That's young as fuck. That's really sad. That's really sad. Was his dad a vet? I don't know why this picture's here.
William David Chapelle III was a veteran, college professor, and an organizer in the civil rights movement in Ohio.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. It sucks that he died young. But man, that's great. That's a lifetime of achievement, you understand?
Although young Dave lost the man he would go to for all of his advice, he knew that his father would want him to stand up and speak out for what he thought was right. Dave was not going to let anyone walk all over him, because
Amen.
Comedy Central was about to try their best at controlling him. Dave was convinced that after his father had passed, he was done with the show business, and he was just going to do stand-up. His first hour-long comedy special, Killin' Them Softly, released on HBO, and many consider this to be one of the best stand-up specials of all time. People knew Dave was a generational talent. He knew it.
Oh my God. If you haven't seen this one, he literally talks about crack babies. He makes the funniest jokes about crack. First of all, crack babies are sad. That's a very sad reality, all right? That like, you have mothers out there that will fucking ingest like the worst of fucking drugs. Talk about heroin, talk about fucking crack cocaine while they're fucking pregnant. Like, fuck the fact that they're even doing it after the kids are born, right? Ruining the children's lives. Talk about their babies being born whose mothers are like severely addicted to fucking intravenous drugs and fucking street drugs and all this shit. And then you end up with crack. And this man makes the funniest fucking jokes about crack babies. And it just it just blows my mind. Like, he is, bro, when you talk about talent, bro, none of it is wasted with Dave Chapelle.
Could not give up on this dream. He started writing a variety show with various skits and sketches that were personal and relatable to the common man. He knew he had something big, and after a few years in 2003, he decided to pitch a new show titled The Chapelle Show, which got picked up by Comedy Central for 2 seasons. The Chapelle Show is regarded by many as the greatest sketch comedy show in history. Dave would open the show performing stand-up to a live audience and then shift the joke into a pre-recorded sketch.
Look. Chappelle Show, one of the best skit comedy shows probably in existence. And then, like, I think the only one I would say comes kind of close to it would be like, Whose Line Is It Anyways? Right? And that's an improv. So it's not really the same thing as a skit thing, because skits you have to write them out, so on and so forth. So you know what? Yeah, I don't even think they're in the same category, but they're both funny as fuck.
All of his bits were rooted in a great deal of irony, basically conveying the exact opposite of what you would expect. Like this employee training video that teaches you exactly how to get fired.
Getting to work.
First of all, never show up on time.
He created characters that would earn die-hard fan base.
I think I took that advice to heart, because as far as every job I've ever held, I think I've always shown up just a little late. But then again, you know what I'm saying? My people, we call it Cuban time.
Like Tyrone Biggums, who was, well, pretty much just a crackhead. Or Clayton Bigsby, the world's only black white supremacist. Due to his blindness, he didn't know that he was actually black. Sometimes his character...
That character is who they based Uncle Ruckus on from fucking Boondocks. Like, if you ever watched the Boondocks, which is a great fucking... Bro, talk about, like, American anime at its fucking best. The Boondocks was probably one of the best fucking shows out there. And they had this one character, Uncle Ruckus. Oh, Uncle Ruckus. Oh, my gosh. Hold on. Like, just so you have a comparison. Let's go back a little bit and find Mr. Bigsby, whatever his name is. There you go. There he is, and then Uncle Ruckus. You see the fucking got him. Oh, look at this. It's fucking beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. Let's go.
Sometimes his characters were just over-exaggerated versions of real people, like Lil Jon or Rick James.
I'm Rick James.
Bitch.
Enjoy yourself.
Edgy isn't even a good enough word to describe Dave's humor. He was way over the edge with some of these bits. The most shocking of them all was perhaps the Hard R family, a rich suburban white family whose last name is the racial slur.
Morning, niggas.
Why, it's Twisted, our colored milk man.
And it's my favorite family to deliver milk to. The niggas.
The very first episode of Chappelle's Show tackled an extremely risky subject, basically becoming a mission statement for the
Look, Chappelle doing whiteface. I love it. I love it. Chappelle doing whiteface. Hilarious.
program. If you don't like this, you won't like anything else. Something like The Chappelle Show will never air on TV ever again, but at the time, people loved it.
This shit's great. This shit is great.
Now, even in 2004, the mainstream media was against shocking, vulgar, and risky entertainment, but they had a little tolerance. The solution back then was put it on after hours, like after 9 p.m. when the kids are asleep. The Chappelle Show averaged 3.1 million viewers per episode in 2004, just shy of Saturday Night Live's 3.7 million.
You know what that is? You know how crazy that stat is? Saturday Night Live has been like the longest running comedy show, I would say in history. Like Saturday Night Live was around like in the fucking, when did it start, bro? I was gonna say the 80s, but I don't even know. Saturday Night Live first aired. There you go. In 75, bro. Holy shit. Halfway through the 70s. And we're almost, bro, it's almost 2025. You understand that, right? Like, it's almost been 50 years that this show's been running. Like, it's crazy. It's great. It's a great show, too. I mean, I'm not gonna say here. Not everything that happens on that show is super fucking funny. But, I mean, like, I could say that you could probably get at least one good laugh out of any of those episodes.
However, Dave's impact on culture at that time far exceeded SNL. He was a superstar comedian at a time where comedy was missing superstars. Dave's show saved Comedy Central from failing and made them a ton of money. Chappelle Show Season 2 Uncensored has broken both the first day and 7-day sales records for TV on DVD, with close to 500,000 units sold on its May 24th release date and more than 1.2 million units sold in its first week out in the market. Chappelle Show Season 1 Uncensored, released last year, is the best-selling TV on DVD title, with close to 3 million copies sold.
You understand 3 million copies sold, right? 3 million copies. If you go out and buy that thing, it's probably because it's a fucking, it's a season box set, right? It's uncensored, which, by the way, like, I don't know how the fuck you would have released that censored. Who the fuck would pay for that? But you're talking about season 1 of Dave Chappelle, uncensored. It's a little box set. It probably looks cool. Probably has a little holographic title to it. It's probably about $15-20. $15-20 on top of 3 million copies. You're talking about like somewhere in the ballpark of fucking, what, 45 million? Am I doing my numbers right? Because if it was only $10, it'd be 30 million. Yeah, exactly. 45 million to $60 million. That's a healthy amount of money
sold. Because of the first 2 seasons' undeniable success, Comedy Central offered Dave a whopping $50 million for a new season, but instead he walked away.
Like the fucking boss he is. Like the fucking like with his integrity intact and his balls in his hand, like, go suck on these.
Like many people who are new to the entertainment industry, Dave signed a contract that he didn't fully understand. Of course he hired a lawyer, but ultimately he knew this show was great for his career and he would make good money. What could possibly go wrong? Dave says he never got paid for The Chappelle Show because the contract said Comedy Central didn't have to pay him.
What?
This contract also said that they have...
What? Wait, what? He never made money off of the show? Is what?
The exclusive right to use the name and likeness of the artist in perpetuity throughout the universe in any and all media known or invented in the future.
Yo, by the way, if language like throughout the universe doesn't fucking tell you that, like, this is kind of fucking ridiculous. If language like, first of all, in perpetuity, you mean forever and ever and ever? Like, forever? And then throughout the universe, so forever throughout all of space. So throughout all of space and time, they get to use whatever the fuck. You see, this is why companies like fucking Google and Universal are teaming up to fucking make AI versions of all these other fucking artists' voices and shit and put them out at fucking like whatever price they want to charge without paying back to the original artist. Because it's dumbasses who are signing contracts like this. And I'm sorry, bro. Like, I think Dave Chappelle is a very smart individual, but this stupid decision. Now, don't get me wrong. I would like to strongly believe, and it's my personal opinion, I know I could be wrong, but I don't think Dave Chappelle would be where he's at today if it weren't for the Chappelle Show. Like, I feel like Chappelle Show really did put his name out there and really got him a lot of reputation, got him a lot of popularity. So I could understand, like, yeah, you fucking, you might take a hit on your first contract in order to be able to build up an audience. But dude, in perpetuity throughout the universe, why is that in any contract? Why is that? How can you sign something away forever? That doesn't make sense. Like, what about common law and things like that, where it's like not common law, but like copyright law, where like, shit is supposed to end, like ownership rights over content should be ending 70 years after the artist's death. You know what I'm saying? And then it enters into free use. You get what I'm saying? Like that was invented for the purpose of allowing people to recreate art and recycle the shit to begin with. So like language like this in perpetuity throughout the universe, it, to me, goes against common fundamental values of copyright to begin with.
Sure. On top of them literally owning him, Dave just straight up didn't like the fame and attention. He just liked comedy. But even that was getting ruined. One night while he was performing in Sacramento, California, he walked off the stage after berating his audience for constantly shouting, "I'm Rick James, bitch," which had become a catchphrase from the popular Rick James sketch on his show. Stand-up is the most important thing I do, and because I'm on TV, you make it hard for me to do it, he said. The show is ruining my life, Chappelle told the crowd. Besides requiring him to work 20 hours a day, it has made him a star, which has resulted in the inability of fans to treat him as an individual. So when Comedy Central offered him $50 million, it came with stipulations. He had to get approvals on certain jokes. He didn't have full creative control, and they worked him like a dog. It wasn't worth the money. So one day, he just walked off set and moved to South Africa, desperate to get as far away from Hollywood as possible.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, like, shit, like think about yourself being in that very same position. Think about you getting stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you're there trying to fucking be your best self. And they keep telling you that your best self is whatever you're trying to do, except don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. In fact, let's do more of this and more of that and more of this and more of that. It's like essentially like, imagine as if you created something and then you have like a team of individuals who think themselves better than you, telling you what you should do differently. Like, at the end of the day, you just want to tell people to go fuck off. And the thing is that when you're in a situation when you can't tell people to go fuck off, well then guess what? Guess who has to fuck off instead?
In response, Comedy Central ran a smear campaign on him, saying that he was crazy and on drugs. In May 2005, Comedy Central began promoting the anticipated debut of Chappelle's Show Season 3. One day later, the channel announced that the production on the show had been unexpectedly suspended. Then 1 week later, every news outlet reported that Chappelle had checked into a mental health facility in South Africa, perpetuating the narrative that he was mentally unstable. Some reports said he was even smoking crack.
All right. Anybody see any kind of correlation between you're not doing what we want, so you're crazy, and then like Dave Chappelle, right? So that's one example. But then what about Kanye West? Like, how many people out there, like, I mean, look, I'm not saying that you can't have like certain, I'm not saying that mental health isn't something that's everybody has their fair share of problems with, right? But to start calling someone crazy after years of praising them and loving everything they do, and then now all of a sudden, because they're saying something or because they're acting a certain way, oh, now they're crazy. Oh, now they have a drug problem. Go fuck yourself, bro. Go fuck yourself. It's just a ploy. It's just a game that they play in order to go ahead and suppress individuals that aren't playing by their rules. Like, go fuck yourself. It's nothing besides that.
Crack.
I was freaked out, man, with the fame thing and being called crazy and drug addict and all these things. Scared me. You know, just being treated that way. Like I'm not a person anymore. You say this shit about me in front of my children, and really, like, who the f do these people think they are? And they don't know what happened. You know,
Dave's exit
Amen.
from the $50 million deal was one of the most profound statements in pop culture history. He was already mega famous, but ironically, this exit made him even more famous. One 2006 article said, "These days, if Dave Chapelle merely catches a cold, it winds up in the media or on the internet." He fired back, saying he was not on drugs and he was not crazy. In fact, he was the most level-headed person out there, denying money for his sanity. "I'm not in a mental facility. Everyone around me says, 'You're a genius, you're great, that's your voice.' But I'm not sure they're right." You hear so many voices jockeying for position in your mind that you want to make sure you hear your own voice. So I figured, let me just cut myself off from everybody, take a minute and pull a Flintstone, stop a speeding car by using my bare feet as the brakes. Hollywood just couldn't fathom that someone who became famous would choose to abandon that lifestyle.
This is why that whole mentality of this is why that whole fucking blood cult or blood cabal like theory exists to begin with. It's not because some crazed middle American in his basement, you know, fucking crafted the thought that Hollywood is filled of cultists. It's because of the fact that Hollywood for so long has been trying to force people to play by their rules, trying to force people to fit their schemes. That at the end of the day, when you don't play ball, they throw everything they possibly can at you, because guess what? Hollywood, for the longest time, have been like the fucking trendsetters for media and culture. They have been the ones who have been literally distributing culture. So they think they run everything, not recognizing that at a certain point, there are individuals out there who aren't going to bend over backwards just because you offer them enough fucking money. Not everybody needs more. And just because you're surrounded by your fucking, you know, top echelon fucking individuals, 1%ers, whatever the fuck you want to be, you know what I'm saying? Just because you're surrounded by these fucking idiots and all they care about is money, that doesn't mean that the rest of the world is fucking dead set. I'm not saying that money isn't important. I'm not saying that people don't care about money, but I'm saying that people care more about their fucking values, about other things in life than trying to fucking sit on a pile of cash.
Style. He did make a short reappearance at the 48th Grammy Awards where he received a standing ovation. Right in front of the entire industry, Dave told them how he didn't want to be there.
The only thing harder than leaving show business is coming back.
Later that evening, he went to an after-party held at the home of the legendary artist Prince. Instead of talking to Mariah Carey, Common, or industry powerhouses, he sat in a chair on the back patio, only conversing with people who wanted to. He looks like he is hiding from his peers, hiding from the attention, hiding from the part of himself that is a major star.
No, it's just it's like saying that, like, if I'm smart, I can only go talk to smart people. What are you doing? Like what does that even mean? Or because you know, I've reached a status, I can only talk to people with that status. Like it's like you're deciding who gets to be my friend, deciding like whose opinion should I value. That's fucking ridiculous. And the fact that this even makes an article, it's fucking cheese, bro.
Dave said, "This ain't really my thing." After that night, Dave realized it was time to disappear, and he did just that. And nobody really heard from him for many years.
What did you do for those 10 years?
It was a humble existence. I had young children. I was raising my kids. I was living a suburban life. And then every once in a while, I get this feeling like I'm the funniest guy. I got to get out there. And I would like fly to Denver, do a week in Denver or something. And that's when you would read I was doing like these 6-hour shows. I performed like I was desperate for it. I loved it.
Yeah.
Real quick, just so you understand, like every time you see some JRE shit, every time you see some Joe Rogan stuff, I guess because of his crazy deal And the fact that like YouTube is so fucking tough on like putting his content out there because he refused to continue to put his shit on their platform because Spotify offered him the ability to talk, to exercise his free speech, you know, as freely as he wanted to. Literally gave him money and said, listen, you can say whatever the fuck you want and talk to whoever the fuck you want on our platform instead. So every time one of the JRE clips comes up, it's always going to be modded in some way where the audio sounds weird or there might be some kind of overlay on the video. And 100%, I'm cool with that.
He rode across the country on a motorcycle, focused on raising his children, maintained good standing relationships with his friends. He lived an extremely normal life as his children.
Look at that shirt. That's right. Gus is world famous. That's right.
Good standing relationships with his friends. He lived an extremely normal life, just like me and most of you watching this video. Dave would only make selective appearances from 2005 to 2016. He had a few random stand-up performances here and there. One of them even broke a world record. A 6-hour and 7-minute set at the Laugh Factory became the longest comedic performance in history. He performed at the Oddball Comedy Tour in 2013, doing large arenas around the country. In Hartford, Connecticut, he was booed and heckled during his entire set.
Oh, you fucking dickheads. You fucking idiots. You fucking idiots. So fucking driven by mass media culture who can't even fucking appreciate that you got one of the fucking legends standing right in front of you. No fucking respect for the game. No fucking respect for anybody else. In fact, no respect for your fucking selves. That's what this shows. This shows that everybody in that crowd who was fucking booing that night is nothing more than a piece of shit who trusts everything they hear on the fucking news.
Until he left the stage saying this crowd was the worst one he had seen in his whole life. This bomb made Dave realize he was rusty, and he needed to get back to being funny again. So in 2014, he made a grand comeback by headlining 10 nights at New York City's iconic Radio City Music Hall. The buzz surrounding his return grew as he was interviewed on various late-night talk shows. Dave rocked the sold-out crowds every single night, selling over 60,000 tickets in total. These unforgettable shows marked his official return to the spotlight after his prolonged absence. Dave achieved a legendary status just from his Comedy Central show and one stand-up special. The comedy community as a whole was honored to have him back. He hosted Saturday Night Live during election weekend when Trump won in 2016.
Donald Trump, he did it. He's our president. I feel bad saying it. I'm staying in a Trump hotel right now. I don't know if he's gonna make a good president, but he makes a swell hotel suite, I'm gonna tell you that. Housekeeping comes in the morning and cleans my room, and I just, hey, good morning, housekeeping. Grab a big handful of pussy and say, you know.
What a fucking legend. What a fucking legend. Got a handful of pussy.
Boss said it was okay.
Citizens feared that the new president was going to destroy this country. Dave was skeptical, but ended his monologue with this message.
I'm wishing Donald Trump luck, and I'm going to give him a chance, and we, the historically disenfranchised, demand that he give us one too. Thank you very much.
Netflix announced that they would be hosting Dave for 3 specials, which he would be receiving $20 million for each one. In a way, this can be seen as making up for the trouble he went through with Comedy Central. The Age of Spin was released on Netflix in 2017 and was met with good reviews. Months later, while headlining at Radio City Music Hall, he made multiple jokes about the transgender community. One in specific talks about Trump banning trans people from serving in the US military, in which Dave pokes fun and says that ISIS would be horrified to see trans women storming at them. Chapelle says he doesn't understand trans people, but doesn't think that disqualifies them from being a human being that deserves a life with dignity and happiness and respect.
And the thing is that like people don't understand that the source of comedy comes from you knowing that what they're saying is wrong. Right? It comes from you knowing that what they're saying is either wrong or hyperbolized. You know what I'm saying? It's like the shit that's funny is when they take a situation that you could probably relate to and they blow it up out of proportion and it makes it funny. Or if you know, for example, that this is probably not something that you should be saying, or that you know that, and not even something that you should be saying, if you know that maybe something is wrong, like, for example, buying crack from a baby. That's fucking, what? That makes no sense. Like, what? That's ridiculous. And I mean, obviously, the baby's not going to sell you crack, but but you joke about it. You make that's what makes shit funny. It's taking things, blowing them out of proportions, or saying the shit that you know is wrong to begin with, but you spin it so that it sounds crazier. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what really makes a lot of this shit funny.
He ended by arguing that sometimes he thinks the only reason all of us are talking about transgenders is because white men want to do it.
Yes.
If it was just black people and Mexicans like, hey y'all, we feel like girls inside, they'd be like, shut up, no one asked you how you felt. Dave received a lot of criticism, with many citing that it doesn't matter he is joking because they are rooted in bigotry and overgeneralization.
You know, when he did the, what was it, Equanimity? I don't know if it was that stand-up, it was a stand-up that he did after, but there is one where he literally tells a story about his transgender friend, and it's a really moving piece, you know, and his friend died. And this is someone that he knew, someone personal from his life, you know, and to think that like this man like doesn't have respect for these people, it's ridiculous. It's just, like I said, it's people who are too up in arms about their own fucking insecurities, who decide to take out their issues on other people because guess what? They're not as insecure as I am. Well, you know what? Go fuck yourself, bro. Like, no one cares about you anyways.
Or they say he shouldn't joke about a topic he is uneducated on.
Like, yeah. Shouldn't joke on a topic. Bro, listen. The day you can't talk about something is the day you're no longer in America. You understand me? So, like, you know, fuck you. Fuck you for being an American and thinking that you can go ahead and silence somebody else's opinion. Like, as if we want to fucking hear yours. As if we want to sit here and listen to what the fuck you have to say. We don't, but we allow it because tomorrow, if I want to say something, I want the freedom to fucking say it as well. So fuck you and your opinions. But you know what? Go ahead. Keep throwing them out there.
This back and forth just perpetuated more jokes and commentary from Dave.
Good.
It became a bulk of his material.
You know who hates me the most? The transgender community.
Despite the controversy, his comeback was receiving all the praise. In 2017, Chapelle received a Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album for his first two specials, The Age of Spin and Deep in the Heart of Texas. And later that year would go on to receive an Emmy Award and another Grammy for Outstanding Variety Special for Equanimity. He also won the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. But it was in 2019 where the backlash reached new heights. Sticks and Stones released on Netflix in 2019, and Dave didn't hold back on.
That's the one. That's the one where he talks about his transgender friend. And this was a really good stand-up. And all the jokes about the whole transgender shit were funny as fuck. And if you were hurt about them, if you were butthurt over this shit, then guess what? You're just too insecure. You're too insecure. If you're transgender and you can't laugh at a fucking transgender joke, then you probably have fucking reasons why you think maybe you shouldn't have done what you did. And that's nobody's fault but your goddamn own. So don't take that shit out on other individuals and don't start trying to act like motherfuckers ain't funny when they're goddamn hilarious.
On this one, Me Too, gun control, opioid crisis, cancel culture, and of course the transgender community. He covered every hot button topic in one special. Sticks and Stones marks a shift. This performance felt way more like a piece of social commentary rather than stand-up comedy, at least in the first half. Now I think this goes without saying, but comedy is extremely nuanced. Cherry-picking clips and bits can often remove the necessary context that sells a joke.
100%.
NBC said that today's context-free Twitter culture is preventing Dave from thriving. You're either fighting President Donald Trump or you're a MAGA apologist. You're either believe all women or you're anti-Me Too, and that black and white world is not one in which Dave Chapelle has ever operated, particularly now.
That's not a world. That's not a world anyone's ever bro. That's just not reality. That's just not the way it works, bro. There is nothing that is just black and white. There's no such thing. The amount of gray area that exists, and by the way, it protrudes into every fucking topic, bro. It's everything. That's why the law isn't just fucking black and white. You did this or you didn't do this. No, it's you did this. Well, how much of this did you do? How bad was it? Did you really mean to do it? Did you not mean to do it? You know, did you plan to do it? Did you not plan to do it? And in between all these little intricacies is where you find the nuance which delivers you your fucking sentence once you've committed a crime. But to think that there's a yes or no to anything in this fucking world besides your fucking opinion, it's beyond me. It makes no fucking sense. It's just not. It's not realistic, guys. You can't sit here and say that like everything is cut clear because it's not. Every situation is fucking different. Everybody's inspired for different fucking reasons.
Now, many people read headlines and tweets, then form opinions without actually digesting the material.
By the way, I don't even know what we're gonna call it anymore because they don't. It's not Twitter, right? It's X now. So I don't know what the fuck you call a post on X now. And I feel like it should be something cool. Like Twitter had tweets, so X has.
However, even those who did fully digest the special still were not impressed. Sticks and Stones registers as a temper tantrum, the product of a man who wants it all.
Oh,
money,
whatever.
fame, influence, without much having to.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, Atlantic. Listen, bro, not to say that anyone can't give their fucking opinion, but you're literally publishing shit on here, fucking smearing another individual. Like how many times have you guys interviewed him? Have you at all?
To answer to anyone. Forbes chimed in with, Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones tries too hard to offend.
Forbes magazine sucks. According to Kanye, they don't even put out the actual top richest people list.
Comedians have always.
Oh, not even that. Actually, I've seen documentaries where they talk about how like even with like Trump trying to get his name on that fucking list, and then like how fucking Saudi oil billionaires and all these other fucking individuals send in their earnings, right? They literally send in documents and have them like stamped for approval by whatever fucking governing force they have, or whatever, what's the word of the what the fuck is the word of the individual who fucking stamps shit? Whatever, bro. Like some kind of authoritative, government, or not government, but agency that has the right to declare whether or not what you're saying is true. Like Forbes' top richest people in the world list has a few liars on there, guys. Has a few fucking bullshitters who think that being on that list puts them above other people. It's like, come on, bro. Like, it's all bullshit. Who the fuck cares about Forbes besides the people mentioned in it?
He's made jokes about current societal standards
or people who want to be mentioned in it.
And political climates. Discussing societal issues mixed in with quips and bits make their performances relatable, but not too serious. Dave and many people in defense of comedy argue that nothing is off limits when it comes to jokes, but opposers pick and choose what is allowed to be joked about. At this point, we're re-entering a familiar cycle. Chappelle releases a special on Netflix, he says something incendiary, it's quoted back to him in a headline, and Chappelle reacts to the criticism in another Netflix special. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing. A comedian is not absolved from criticism. And critics don't have to think someone is funny. This cycle is a product of free speech, and any sane human understands both sides are allowed and should speak their mind. One person who knows that the most is Dave Chapelle, who boycotted his own show because he felt like it. In 2020, Viacom, the owner of The Chappelle Show, licensed the show to Netflix and HBO Max without providing Dave with any compensation and without making him aware of the deal. He was aware that it was legal in the court of law, as it was stated in the contract he signed during the show's initial negotiations, but he saw the move as unethical. In a video released by Dave titled Unforgiven, he would ask his fans to boycott the show on HBO until he was paid, citing the ethical obligations of Viacom to pay him what he was owed. Since he had such a good relationship with Netflix, he was furious they did this to him because of how badly Comedy Central treated him.
So you know what I did? I called them and I told them that this makes me feel bad. And do you want to know what they did? They agreed that they would take it off their platform just so I could feel better. That's why I with Netflix.
Dave and his fans praised Netflix for removing the show based on his feelings, but they were shocked when members of the trans community tried to get Dave's special removed because he hurt their feelings.
Shut the fuck up. It's a big difference. It's a big fucking difference. It's a big fucking difference when you can't take a joke versus like the person actually creating the fucking content. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like here, bro. You not understanding how comedy works, that's your fault, right? You not being okay with free speech, that's your fault, okay? Viacom going through the lengths to actually fucking break or go against the contract that they signed with Dave Chappelle, and then Netflix, who wants to continue to have Dave Chappelle come on their platform, and they haven't been the ones who bought it from Viacom. That's a big fucking difference, right? One of them is an actual legality, and the other one's your own fucking problem, right? One of them is based off of your own insecurities, and the other one's a goddamn contract.
The Closer was his 2021 Netflix special
on.
where he again made jokes about trans people, as well as anti-gay jokes and defending TERFs. He stated in the special that gender is a fact. In the special's closing moments, he tells a story about his friend Daphne Dorman, who was a trans woman and stand-up comedian, that defended Dave from criticism in his previous special, Sticks and Stones. Punching down requires you to consider yourself superior to another group. Dave Chapelle doesn't consider himself better than me in any way. He isn't punching up or punching down. He's punching lines. That's his job, and he's a master of his craft.
Yep. You see? And you know what's crazy? Imagine someone talking shit about you. Or imagine someone making jokes about you. And you think it's funny, and you think it's, oh, that's pretty funny. I like those. Like, those are pretty good jokes. And then everybody else getting mad. Like, the fuck? Like, who are you taking responsibility for? I asked the question once again that I seem to be asking more and more every day. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you to be upset at this shit when the person who the jokes are built around doesn't even consider them to be an insult? Who the fuck are you to be so insecure that you have to take on other people's problems because you can't even handle your own?
Dave claimed that Daphne Dorman received so much hate from her own community that she died by suicide 6 days after the special. Right-wing media went into a frenzy saying the trans community are hypocrites and will destroy their own people. However, there's little evidence that supports Daphne's expiration has anything to do with hate. Back in 2019, that tweet had just 12 replies. Another tweet supporting Chapelle had 9. The Instagram post in which she declared her friendship with Chapelle doesn't have any critical replies. Comments on her Facebook post announcing that she was opening for Chapelle are uniformly positive. So are the ones on Reddit after she posted about it there. She doesn't appear to have said anything on Twitter or Facebook about receiving abuse. Her suicide note doesn't mention bullying, nor do any of the obituaries written after her death. Because of this, many people thought Dave was using someone's death to his own benefit, and the trans community were tired of Dave. Netflix employees interpreted The Closer as hate speech, and 65 employees participated in a walkout in protest of the company. The protest garnered a lot of support online. However, it was generally unsuccessful because Netflix has stood behind Dave, kept his specials up, and continued to work with him in the future.
Good. The same way that Spotify went above and beyond to give Joe Rogan a deal to get him to come to their platform because fuck YouTube and their fucking their sensitivities, is the same reason that I'm glad that Netflix has decided to keep Dave Chapelle on their shit, because it just like, bro, like, I don't understand, like, people don't realize it, that when you start getting after these types of topics, bro, and when you do walkouts and you do all this other fucking bullshit and you try to shut shit down, bro, you are ultimately hurting yourself. Yes, today it's not your problem, but tomorrow it will be. Today it's Dave Chapelle, but tomorrow it'll be your ass who's facing this bullshit. And then when you think it's unfair all of a sudden, now you're going to want the rules changed again. Nah, bro, get the fuck over yourself. You're not that important. You're not. There's so many other fucking people, bro. So many other people, and it's my personal opinion that everybody is a part of the fucking process. I'm not saying that you know, it's okay to just remove a fucking individual, but please understand that you are one in many. You are a fucking cog in a machine. And if you need to be replaced, you will be replaced. We will find somebody else who plays fucking ball. Like, that's just the way the fucking world works. And if you can't live in that fucking world, well, I think you need to step the fuck out. And that's not my problem. That's yours. Deal with it. Find your place and fit your fucking lane.
Then things escalated to physical violence against Dave.
Make some noise for hip-hop history.
Isaiah Lee was the name of the suspect who later admitted why he attacked the comedian.
I identify as bisexual, and I wanted him to know what he said was triggering. I wanted him to know that next time he should consider first running his material by people it could affect.
Fuck you. Because you know what? You're a dickhead and you're a pussy. You're a dickhead and a pussy. You want to know why? You want to know what about this makes him a fucking pussy? You want to fucking trade blows with Dave Chapelle? First of all, earn your right to do it. Earn your right. And you want to know how you trade blows with Dave Chapelle? You play his fucking game. Right? You make fucking jokes that are actually fucking funny. Oh, you can't do that. All right, then no problem. But you're gonna go ahead. Look at you, bro. Look at you, bro. You're probably what, fucking 30? Dave Chappelle's like a 50-something, damn near 60-something-year-old man. And you're gonna tackle this guy on stage twice your fucking age? What the fuck is that, bro? Resorting to fucking blows? I'm sorry. But literally, the dumbest thing you could fucking do is inflict violence on another human being. That literally says that you're too stupid to use your fucking words. So you resorted to fucking throwing arms. You're a fucking idiot, bro. You're a fucking idiot. And I hope they throw the whole fucking book at you. The whole fucking book. And I hope it hits you on the fucking face so hard that you recognize that you're a fucking dickhead.
Isaiah Lee has also been charged with attempted murder after stabbing his roommate. And
there you go. There you go. With fucking history of fucking violence. Look at this. Fuck this kid, bro. Fucking idiot.
in a last effort to take down Dave, a venue in Minneapolis canceled a sold-out show of his hours before the doors were set to open. We believe in diverse voices and the freedom of artistic expression, but in honoring that, we lost sight of the impact this would have. The event was moved to a smaller venue in the same city and sold out 2 shows back-to-back. It seemed like the more backlash Dave got, the more it would ultimately help his career. The Closer was nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Variety Special. Good. To close out the year, Dave took the stage on SNL and delivered the show's opening monologue. And yes, he faced even more controversy. Good. Recently, Kanye West had went on an anti-Semitic rant, so...
Whew. Oh yeah, I remember this. Man. Okay, hold on. I'm reading this. I should be reading it out loud. I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. The funny thing is, I can't actually be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew. Also, you guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever opposes your agenda. Listen, bro, the way Ye speaks and the way he communicates. The thing is that, like, you know, honestly, I appreciate people like Dave Chappelle. I appreciate people like Kanye, or Ye, I'm sorry, formerly known as Kanye. It's because, you know what, they're willing to voice their opinions, and they're willing to say, they're willing to tell you what's on their mind without even explaining what they're thinking. Okay, they're willing to fucking throw it out there without having to give you the rundown of why they're throwing the things out there. And I think that's so fucking important. Because the thing is that, like, at the end of the day, you're going to take a bit of what they say. You're just going to, and Ye's been fucking rapping about it for the longest time, that all they want is a soundbite. All they want is a soundbite. Oh, they going to bite the sound. All they want is a soundbite. And at the end of the day, that's what these motherfuckers do. They fucking paraphrase. They fucking take things out of context. And they won't even listen to everything they have to say. So why even waste my time explaining myself when either way, you're going to take this little bit of what I said. So you know what? I'm just going to give you the bit and let you fucking run with it, because who the fuck cares? And that's why Ye went on fucking Alex Jones and caused the fuckus that he caused, because at the end of the day, you're not even listening to what the fuck the man has to say to begin with. So why does he even go to the lengths to try to explain himself if, fuck you, you're not going to give him the time of day? So why should he give you the time of day? They have much bigger things to worry about than your fucking opinion.
Social media, to which Dave responded with,
I denounce anti-Semitism in all its forms. And I stand with my friends in the Jewish community. And that, Kanye, is how you buy yourself some time. You know, the rules of perception. If they're black, then it's a gang. If they're Italian, it's a mob. But if they're Jewish, it's a coincidence, and you should never speak about it.
And that's a big deal. Like, that right there, what he just mentioned is a big deal, bro. It is no secret that the Jewish community is one of the most tight-knit communities that exist. You would hear comedians like Ari Shaffir talk about fucking gabagools. You know what gabagools are? Everybody who's not Jewish. They literally have a term to fucking refer to everybody outside of their community. Okay? It's a very tight-knit community, probably the tightest knit one that exists. Bro, you know what I'm saying? You might even ask yourself, well, you know, like, how do we know? Bro, look at Drake. You know Drake is Jewish, right? Look how fucking famous Drake is. Like, look how fucking popular he is. And I'm not saying that he hasn't had his own fair share of struggle. I'm not saying that Jewish people don't struggle. But I'm going to tell you right now, if they need a fucking shoulder to lean on, they fucking got one. So for anyone to be surprised, okay, look at the top record executives. Most of them are Jewish. Look at the top, like look at all these other businesses. Like, bro, it's no coincidence. And think about it. If they're tight-knit as a community as they are, don't get me wrong, you know, you might have like, I don't know if poor Jewish people exist, but let's just assume there's like a lower class of Jews, and then there's a middle class, and there's an upper class. I guarantee you 100% that the dude who owns the record label who's Jewish is friends with the dude who owns the majority of these fucking banks who's also Jewish, who's friends with the guy who owns that other fucking business that's fucking multi-billion-dollar corporation who also happens to be Jewish. I guarantee you they've had dinner together at least once. So for at any point in time, like you think that like Ye's talking about having his bank accounts frozen, not being able to get to the resources that he himself has earned. He's talking about the rights to his art, the fucking thing he's created that has earned him the money and has earned them the respect that he has to this day. He's talking about not being able to live his life because there is a certain group of individuals who are coming after him, who don't like what he has to say, and for some reason or another are offended by it or offended by what he's causing or the ruckus or the fucking movement he's inspiring, whatever the fucking case is. And yet you won't even give him the time of day to listen to his fucking opinion. So you know what? Fuck you and fuck them.
Despite Dave obviously disagreeing with Kanye, his jokes entertain the possibility that some of what Ye said holds an ounce of truth, which led to even more critics calling Dave anti-Semitic. He ended the monologue with a message.
It shouldn't be this scary to talk about anything. It's making my job incredibly difficult. And to be honest with you, I'm getting sick of talking to a crowd like this. I love you to death. And I thank you for your support. And I hope they don't take anything away from me. Whoever they are.
Some people think that Dave's legacy has been tainted by hardcore transphobia, or trying too hard to be controversial. Even though his comedy has always towed the line as to what is socially acceptable, Dave has benefited greatly from free speech. He has gained hundreds of millions of dollars and diehard fans around the world, so it's only fair if his opposition can also speak up and voice their opinions and disagreements with his performances. All attempts to silence Dave have been proven unsuccessful.
Look, bro, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with you going out there and voicing your opinion. There's nothing wrong with any. The problem is when you are trying to apply the law to individuals in unjust ways. Okay? When you're trying to silence, and you can't silence individuals. You can't. If you want the freedom to go out there and talk about how it's unfair that he says these things, then he needs the freedom to be able to go out there and say these things to begin with.